sure that, if you're flying anywhere, if you don't already have TSA PreCheck, it's not too late to get that. There are, we don't have any pop-up events coming up in this vicinity, but you can always still enroll and go to one of the full service centers and get TSA PreCheck. If you have TSA PreCheck, make sure when you are checking in that icon is on your boarding pass. Because even if you have TSA PreCheck, if it hasn't been tied to your flight reservation, you are not going to be eligible to go through that line. They're going to send you back through general security. So make sure that it is in your reservation, your known traveler number, and that you have that TSA PreCheck loaded in there so that you can take advantage of that. I think it's, we've got so many great domestic destinations to cover, not just on the show, but in general. So we do have some great promos coming up at AAA. Any domestic destination that you book between now and July 6th, if you use the promo code KDKA-USA, you're going to get a free red, white, or blue Yeti tumbler for a AAA branded Yeti tumbler. So one extra thing, I swear by I always have a Yeti or a Stanley mug, something, and with this heat coming, a Yeti would be a great thing to take on your trip with you. Make sure that you're well hydrated, not just with coffee or anything else, but that water as well.
Well, what's funny? I've always drank a lot of water, but I don't think people realize little things like that, good shoes, being hydrated, because you don't think of this stuff, but it's important that you do that.
Absolutely. I say, making sure that you have good shoes. And I'm always one that I like to buy something new for a trip. But make sure that if you buy like new shoes, you try them on before you go. You break them in a little bit.
Carry a couple Band-Aids in case you get that blister.
Exactly. Wear them everywhere you go for like the week before so that you really break them in. So you know where, if they're going to rub weird, or those socks that you think you're going to pack are too short and you're going to get that blister, those little things. Make sure you pack things like some kind of liquid hydration. All those electrolyte packets go so far, especially as we're approaching the peak of summer. It's going to be hot no matter where you go.
You know what I used to notice when I would go on vacation? It's been a long time. You would see people that would hit the beach for the first day and hadn't had any sun at all summer long. And no sunscreen, nothing, anything. You need to plan for that. Maybe just a little bit of that liquid sunshine in the backyard when you're weeding or cutting grass. Yeah. And then when you go on vacation, make sure you have all the sunscreen and things that you need to.
Absolutely. And there are so many, we see it's very popular to pack carry-on only, not checking a bag. So make sure that your liquids, when you pack that sunscreen, your shampoo, your conditioner, any other toiletries you might need, make sure that those are under that 3.3 ounce, that 100 milliliters, so that you don't have to throw them out or go back through and check your bag, whatever it may be. But there are so many, all the stores have the whole big travel section. You can see those small toiletries, but like to your point, make sure that you pick up the sunscreen in that travel size as well.
Isn't it amazing how many people do walk around with Yetis now in their hands?
Yeah. They're amazing how insulated they are. I have almost the opposite problem anymore because I'll be driving to work and I'll go to take a sip of my coffee and I forget how hot it still is. Even though I poured it an hour earlier, when I was getting ready, it's still so hot and I'm about to burn my mouth. So they are amazing, the Yetis, the Stanleys, and really just making sure that you're keeping hydrated.
All right, so what are people doing? I know one thing's for sure, the gas price means nothing because everybody's out traveling. Absolutely, and we're seeing it start to come down as well. So, it's definitely, hopefully we're on the other side of that and it's going to continue to decrease. But so, hitting the road is, this is a great time to hit the road. America's 250 hits on a perfect day. We've built in, most businesses are closed on the 3rd, that everyone has a built-in 3-day weekend. Listen, most people are going to be gone as of July 1st.
Yes, absolutely. So of course, take that into account wherever you're going. Make sure that you take a look at their holiday hours, whether it be a restaurant, an attraction. Make sure that you're aware as to what their plans are and their hours of operation are for that holiday as well.
All right, we are ready. With Ready, Set, Go. It's New York City with Pleasant Holidays members first. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, we're talking in the first segment about New York City and how we were just there, and I wanted to recreate that trip for everyone. So our feature dates are Thursday, October 1st through Monday, October 5th. This package includes round-trip direct flights on American Airlines and a 4-night stay in the Westin, New York at Times Square. That's where we stayed. We had an amazing time. It's a beautiful hotel right there on 43rd and 7th. So you're right in the middle of Times Square. great public transportation, great options for taxis if that's the way you'd like to travel. And as we mentioned in the first segment, great walking distance to everything. For this package, you're looking at $1,306 per person. That's the AAA member rate. That includes those round trip direct flights and that 4-night stay there at the Westin New York Times Square. And this hotel has a $40 per day destination fee. So we used to see that only in Las Vegas, those resort fees, those add-ons. This price includes that destination fee. And this destination fee, so many hotels are starting to take it on, but you can really use it to your advantage. So this destination fee includes $20 of credit at their restaurant or bar every day. It also includes a choice of tickets. You can go to the American Natural History Museum or do a New York City Freedom Liberty cruise. So it does a little cruise around the harbor up the East River. You really get to travel under the Brooklyn Bridge, really get to see those iconic sites. It also includes daily tickets to a New York City comedy club, which is also something iconic. So really, and all of these tickets, I looked it up, I did the math. So the Natural History Museum is $36 per person. So you get 2 free tickets at $72. You're already making $32 on your trip, paying that $40 destination fee. Same with the Liberty Cruise. It was about $32 a person. So, $64, you're making $24 out of this, taking advantage of all of this. So, of course, I just was there, took advantage of all of these things. Really amazing. The American History Museum, Natural History Museum has, the dinosaur bones. It's 4 floors. You see, there's a geology hall. I love the Carnegie Museum of Natural History here in Pittsburgh, but it's probably about 2 to 3 times the size.
Yeah, they do things a little bigger.
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's right off of Central Park as well. So we took advantage of being there at the Natural History Museum and then took a nice little stroll through Central Park. There's a castle. It's maybe a 3 to 5 minute walk from the Natural History Museum.
A castle?
A castle, yes. And they use it for like weddings and stuff now, but it was built about 150 years ago. It was an actual castle at the time, and there's a beautiful lake right there. So really just, taking advantage of everything that's offered. New York City has something for everyone, too, as we were talking about all the different diasporas, the little groups of, Little Haiti, Chinatown, Little Italy, all of those things. So if there's a cuisine you've wanted to try or something you're craving, there it is. And also, this package includes flights with American Airlines, but Pittsburgh has flights to New York City on all of the major carriers direct.
Every day.
Every day. So, multiple flights a day. So it really allows you to, if you're an early bird, get that first flight, get that flight out there and hit the ground running. You want to come home later or fly out a little later in the day, there's those options as well to get into any of the airports there, LaGuardia, JFK, or even Newark over in New Jersey. All of those are easy access to New York City. They all have great options on the public transportation and, of course, with taxis or Ubers or Lyfts as well.
Sounds good. And listen, I don't think you could do anything more patriotic than this thing.
Yes, absolutely. The Liberty Cruise that was included with this, it gets you right up in front of the Statue of Liberty, right there. You get to see, and they know that you want to get the picture. So, there's no bad seat. They slow down, they stop the boat, they spin it around so that, if you're on the other side, they
get a shot.
Exactly. They're not, it's not like, make sure you sit on the left side of the boat because you're going to miss all the sights. They do a big loop. So you get to see everything and really get to see, Rockefeller Center, the Empire State Building. And it's guided, but they're not constantly talking. It's that perfect blend of like getting to enjoy the sights, but also what is it you're looking at? And they get to explain everything that you're seeing and the history. It was literally, we didn't plan to do it at all. And we checked in and we saw they had times almost every hour. And we checked in and we're like, yep, let's get on the next cruise possible. And it was a really great introduction to the city as well, because it got us, okay, well, I forgot about that. Let's make sure we go see that and venture around the city. It was a great way to plan.
Gets the senses going, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
All right, 800-354-8761, 800-354-8761, 800-354-8761. We've got much more still to come, so please stay where you're at. Coming up, Rob Taylor with that update at the bottom of the hour. Next hour, it's Law for the Elderly, Zachariah Brown Brakovic. That's all still to come today on KDKA with your Pratt Pack. Good morning.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Life's best moments start with perfect choices. For Connie Nowak, it was a trolley ride and a 67-year love story. A life of family, smart decisions, and companionship with Chester the cat. Her retirement choice, the village at St. Barnabas. Recreation, healthcare, close to family, everything on her list. Plus, it's an exceptional retirement value with a flexible entry process and affordable rates. St. Barnabas Retirement Communities, stbarnabascommunities.com, or call 724-444-5568.
Spring has sprung, and so have the insects. Win the battle with Harmony Organic Insect Control. Nothing is safer, nothing works better. Harmony is earth-friendly, 100% non-toxic, and safe for plants, people, and pets. Harmony Organic Insect Control kills spiders, aphids, mites, soil lice, millipedes, and hundreds of other garden pests. Find Harmony at participating True Value hardware stores or online at harmonyoic.com. Hello, spring. Goodbye, bugs. Thanks to Harmony Organic Insect Control.
Don't miss the City of Pittsburgh's Independence Day celebration Saturday, July 4th. It's presented by People's Natural Gas, Rugby Realty, Generator Supercenter of Pittsburgh, and by Red Ribbon Soda, Pittsburgh's Pop. Michael Bartley, Rachel, and John will be live from Point State Park starting at 2 and ending with a fireworks soundtrack extravaganza right here on the Voice of Pittsburgh 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA. From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 71 degrees, Pittsburgh International at 11:30. I'm Rob Taylor. 2 people have died following an early morning crash on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. It's happened around 2:30 this morning in the eastbound lanes of I-76 near the Route 136 overpass. That's in Hempfield Township. Still unclear of the circumstances that led to the crash and unclear the identities of the 2 people who died. Stay with News Radio KDK for more on this developing story. Well, a downtown dedication on Friday recognized the lasting legacy of abolitionist George B. Vashon. News Radio KDK's Tamara Rush was there. Has the details.
Vashon's great-great-grandson, Paul Thornell, joined city leaders in downtown Pittsburgh as a new historical marker was unveiled, recognizing his legacy as a lawyer, scholar, and abolitionist.
George B. Vashon was one of the first black college graduates, first black college professors, and first black lawyers in the country, but grew up here, right here on site at the corner of 3rd and Market Streets. His father, John B. Vashon, was one of the leading black businessmen of the time. He had a public bathhouse, which was the first public bathhouse in Pittsburgh. It was connected to a barber shop, and during the day he would cater to white and black clientele, and at night there were escaped slaves that were coming through because there was a stop on the Underground Railroad.
The marker now stands at 3rd Avenue and Market Street, where visitors can learn more about one of Pittsburgh's pioneering black leaders. Tamira Rush, News Radio KDKA.
KDK Radio News Time, 11:31. Next updates at noon. I'm Rob Taylor on the Voice of Pittsburgh, News Radio KDK.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-746-3737. That's 800-746-3737. 800-746-3737.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
This afternoon stays humid with clouds and a brief shower or two, even a rumble of thunder, high 75. Turning partly cloudy, humid, low 67 tonight. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following program is paid for by AAA.
We're talking travel with AAA on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, up next with Caitlin Seigan, we're going to talk Denver.
Yes, so our second tour of the week is Denver, again with our Pleasant Holidays Member First partnership. The featured dates are Thursday, September 17th to Monday, September 21st of 2026. This package includes round-trip direct flights on Southwest Air and a 4-night stay in the Kimpton Hotel Monaco, Denver. You're looking at $944 per person, AAA member price. So under $1,000 per person to go and explore Denver. You're essentially located at an amazing hotel. You can pop out. Denver's a great place to even rent a car as well. You can pop out into the surrounding neighborhoods. They have an amazing, you're right there in the Rockies, really getting to see the beautiful sights. Depending on what time of year you can go catch a baseball game, a football game, anything like that as well. This hotel, also the Kimpton Hotel Monaco, Denver, also has a destination fee like we were talking about in the last segment. But again, it's $30 per day. Included in that price that was quoted, that $944 per person. And it really, again, includes some discounts on mini golf, discounts at a food tour. Denver is actually a very underrated food city. You get to experience that. It includes free beverages, a nightcap from 8 to 10 p.m. at the hotel lobby. Really some mini golf, like I mentioned, really cool experiences that you could really use to your advantage to see things in Denver that you might not have normally seen. So really take a drive out to Red Rocks, that beautiful amphitheater just outside of Denver. Whichever way you drive outside of Denver, there are so many smaller towns that still have a little bit of that smaller feel, but have that same Denver energy, that Rocky Mountain air. Really get to experience it. And you're actually not even far from Rocky Mountain National Park. So if that's something you want to go do some hiking, get to experience that. It's beautiful. Denver's such a unique location. So, and again, this package includes flights on Southwest, but you can also fly there direct on United. So, again, we're seeing more and more direct flights out of Pittsburgh. So it doesn't matter what airline, you might have that loyalty to. You'll probably be able to find a nice, quick way, if not direct, to get to that city of your choice.
Absolutely love it. 800-354-8761. We haven't talked Denver in a while.
No, I know. And that's why I was kind of thinking, Denver, I haven't been to Denver in a couple years myself. And it's, always on my radar. I really love Denver because it's the Mile High City. It is always a little bit more temperate. You're not going to often see it in the 90s in Denver. So it's always, it's more comfortable to do that walking or sit outside and have your dinner and things like that. So get to experience it more that way.
Put it into perspective, okay? So you were over in Europe.
Yeah.
A lot of those things have been around for thousands and thousands.
Right.
But here in this country, all of this stuff, 250 years.
Right. Yes. I say so much of this stuff is new, and it's a monumental birthday here for America, but that happened about 6 centuries ago, and in modern day Europe. Right. Not to mention the history, back centuries, honestly. So it is really neat to get to appreciate our own backyard. And again, we do have that package going on right now, not just for the things that we're talking about here on air, but also any domestic destination. If you mention KDKA USA while booking between now and July 6th, whether it be a land tour, a cruise, anything that you're booking a package with us, you'll be getting a red, white, or blue AAA Yeti. So one more extra gift. We love to give away things with our appreciation for booking. So this is a great added on surprise for you if you're booking. So make sure that you mention KDKA USA when you're booking to be eligible for that.
Yeah, 800-354-8761. So who do you think would really love Denver?
Denver is really appeals to everyone. You know, it's got, you know, they're known for their craft beer culture, so that, you know, that has no age or demographic, bearing that you're over 21, of course. But, you know, it's beautiful for the sights, the sounds, the nature that's right there, but also, you know, the canyons, the Red Rocks. As I mentioned, Red Rock Amphitheater has amazing concerts. It's an incredible, it's a bucket list venue for me. So, you know, they're always showing different things. Take a look on their site and get to see what concerts they have coming up and plan a trip around that even. So it's just beautiful to get to experience. You know, I know people love to collect, like to visit all the national parks. So you're right there with Rocky Mountain National Park. And it is a good jumping off point for anything there in that area, flying right into Denver and even taking a little road trip from there.
One thing we do have in common, we both have very popular football teams, but our football team is going to Paris, not Denver, but us. We'll be taking on the New Orleans Saints. Tell everybody about what AAA is doing and how they have a big event coming up.
Yes, so the package itself is October 21st through the 26th. There's an air option or a land only if you want to use miles or points to maybe book that air over to Paris. If you have questions or you're thinking about booking, but you want to learn more about it, we're going to have an amazing presentation this coming Monday, just 2 days from now, at Southern Tier on the North Shore from 6 to 8:30. Come on down, grab some dinner. It's not too late. Just register online. I've seen it all over social media, but it's also all over AAA.com. Register so that you can go attend. They're giving away free gifts just for attending. Additional free gifts if you book on site there. Learn more about the trip. Really get to see the experiences. It's going to be such an amazing trip. You know, Dublin was so incredible with the Steelers visiting Dublin, but it's amazing that 2 seasons back to back we get to play in Europe and get to cheer on the black and gold over there. And the stadium that they're playing in there outside of Paris, just outside of Paris, was actually built for when France was one of the host nations of the World Cup. So everything kind of comes full circle. Really take advantage of this amazing trip. Stop into any of our branches to book, call, or also, you know, make sure that you come out on Monday to learn more about it.
Yeah, again, 800-354-8761. I can't stress enough. Right now, people are still in a baseball frame of mind, but by the time camp opens up in about a month, it's going to be full throttle. So get in now while you can before there's a mad dash to try to get in to be a part of that trip, and you're not going to be able to. So don't get left out. 800-354-8761. Some thoughts about the July 4th holiday travel tips and tricks and ideas and things you need to know. Then we'll come back, and we've got our river cruise of the week. So go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are traveling in the coming weeks, honestly, even starting now, because as we mentioned previously, most people have, a lot of people have July 3rd off for the holiday as well. So this is a short week for everyone. A lot of people took vacation time. So that means we're going to see some extended lines at the airports. Make sure that you're just prepared, pack your patience. Make sure that if you have TSA PreCheck, it is tied to your ticket and it shows up on your boarding pass so that you could take advantage of going through those lines. Make sure you're packing smart. Your liquids are under that 3-ounce, 100 milliliter measurement so that you can have them in your carry-on. You know, if you are checking a bag, invest in some kind of tracker, you know, whether it be an AirTag or whatnot. There's so many different brands out there, but make sure that then you know where your luggage is. Really just make sure that you're taking a look at the weather. We're going to have a heat wave coming up here in Western Pennsylvania. Make sure that you pack appropriately. I made that mistake when going to Europe. We were packing for 10 days. I packed jeans and it was 92 degrees over there. And that was probably the last thing I wanted to be wearing. So, you know, make sure that you're taking a look, packing smart, making the use of your luggage space. And, you know, there's so many great destinations out there. So I know that travel, this is an amazing time to travel and get to see all the different celebrations that we have going on coast to coast.
Here's the other thing. Even if you don't have anything in mind, if you stop in at an office or call, they'll give you a few ideas.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's not too late, you know, depending on your flexibility, your availability, and, you know, your budget. There's some great last minute trips, or, you know, even if you're just looking to take a little road trip, we can book you some hotels, get you that triptych, those driving directions, you know, Make sure that you know any road closures driving out here. I just kept seeing all the signs for the closure coming up on 376. So again, get those trip ticks. You never know what something like that might be on your drive, whether you're driving an hour or 6 hours across the country just to kind of experience something new for the 4th of July.
And also, if you're taking that big trip, you got to keep a number of things in mind, especially if you're flying out over the 4th. You got to get there early. And if you're taking some of these trips that you're going to be booking later on this summer, always think travel insurance.
Yes, absolutely. Travel insurance is always something we're going to cover with you. Make sure that you understand your policy. We'll get you in touch with Allianz, our one of our key partners there with insurance. They have many different levels, so you can kind of understand your coverage limits, what that's going to cover, and you're going to want to book that travel insurance when you place your deposit. That's going to be what makes it most effective against any pre-existing medical conditions, things like that. So they really are in-depth policies. They cover a wide range of things, but if you want to book this to face, no one books a trip not wanting to go, but you never know what other things might come up. So this is definitely just that added layer of protection to ensure that you're protecting your investment of the trip you're booking.
All right, we're going to take our final break, come back, and then we're going to do Heartland of America with Viking River Cruises, but please tell them membership. If you've let it lapse, you don't have one. If you don't do anything else other than this today, you did a smart thing.
Yes, absolutely. So make sure you're taking advantage of that membership. We have so many promos going on. So give us a call, stop into a branch office, get that membership. With that membership comes auto insurance, home insurance, life insurance, all these things you can take advantage of. But also, even if you never want to step foot in a branch, I hope that you do. I'd hope to see you in my branch someday. But if you never want to step foot in a branch, the app has so many resources. We have AAA tickets. When we were in New York City last minute, we decided we wanted to go to a Yankees game. We were able to book those tickets through AAA, they were 15% off, and be able to get last minute tickets into Yankee Stadium. So it's really the AAA membership almost picks up where your AAA travel advisor leaves off, adds in any of those extra excursions, those last minute things. We have dining deals. It's essentially like a revamped Groupon with the AAA membership anymore, all the things you could take advantage of. So definitely get that membership if you don't have one. And if you have one, make sure you're taking a look at the website, the app, and really taking advantage of all the things that come with it.
All right, here's what you need to do. It's 800-354-8761, 800-354-8761. Many of these branches are open for this Saturday, too. We're still open for business until 1 today. Coming up next hour, Zachariah Brown-Brakovic, attorney of law when it comes to law for the elderly, and we're going to be joined by a new member of that incredible law firm. She is attorney Melanie Lewis, who made her debut with us on the radio last month, but we're going to have her back again this month, so we're really looking forward to that. And she's got some special things that she wants to enlighten you on, okay, especially if you have a recent high school graduate in your household. All of that, much more, including Rob coming back with another look at the news in about 15 minutes. But we're coming back with that Viking River Cruise. One more segment. Caitlin Seigan today on KDKA.
When the weather turns bad, turn to us for the best news, weather, and traffic information from the KDKA Radio Storm Center. Presented by Duquesne Light Company. Larger than light. Online and on the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills.
Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
SchultzFord.com, 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 SchultzFord.com.
We're talking travel with AAA on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, listen, let's do this Heartland Viking River Cruise. That's another good way to see America, as we will be celebrating 250 right through the end of the year. Go ahead.
Yeah, so our featured cruise of the week, focusing on domestic destinations in our beautiful nation, is the Heartland of America with Viking River Cruises. So it's 7 nights on board the Viking Mississippi. The feature dates are Tuesday, September 7th through Tuesday, September 14th of 2027. So this is over a year out, but it's never too early to start planning these cruises. It starts in Alton, Illinois, which is actually about a half hour outside of St. Louis. So if you want to fly out a day or two early, experience St. Louis, or even if you want to fly out the day of, direct flights into St. Louis will get you right there where you need to be. It visits some cities in Missouri, Iowa, Wisconsin, before ending in Minnesota and St. Paul. So again, there's direct flights back from Minneapolis, St. Paul. So a really great way to experience that heartland of America that maybe might have always, might have not been on your radar, but this is a great way to get to see these sites. You're in a different port every day. These cities grew up around the Mississippi. So they're, it's really neat, the history there. For a French balcony room, you're looking at $6,499 per person. A penthouse junior suite, $8,799. Those prices are per person, the AAA member rate. The Viking is currently having their spring sale now, so it's only a $25 deposit per person. So, and they have some different air promos as well for their airfare. It's a really great experience that, maybe you're looking to check those last couple states off your bucket list, or you're looking to celebrate an anniversary or a milestone birthday, something like that. It's a really great experience to see those sites that, like I said, might not have been on your radar, and really get to see the heartland of America and everything that grew up and made us the amazing nation we are now.
Yeah, Thomas Jefferson signs the Louisiana Purchase. Lewis and Clark do their thing, but up until that time, nobody even knew it was on the other side of the Mississippi.
Exactly. And the Mississippi, if you've never even seen it, it's incredible.
It kind of reminds you of the ocean.
Really, there are places that you can't see either side when you're sailing along.
Really?
There are some that it's quite wide, and it's just roaring, and it's so powerful. Really an incredible opportunity to get to see our nation at its core.
Well, that's the thing about these Viking river cruises, how intimate they are. Even though you're on the water, it's almost like you could reach out and touch the shoreline.
Yes, exactly. And it is nice because you do have, there are so many amazing amenities on the ship that you're not going to maybe necessarily always want to leave it. But if you do, you're in a different port every day. You're more or less waking up in a different state every day. And you get to experience some of these sites that, one time you're on this side of the Mississippi and the next day you're on the other side of the Mississippi, and really getting to see everything that developed around this incredible body of water.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, we're going to go through everything we have done today, the entire playlist, because I don't want you to miss a single minute of it. But please, before you start today's itinerary, remind the Steeler fans what we have going on.
Yes, so the Steelers are playing again this year in Paris. It's coming up before you know it. We have a package traveling October 21st through the 26th of 2026. There's a package you could get with air or without airfare, and there's different levels depending on what kind of seats you'd like at the Steelers game. But if you're looking for more information and you want to ask some questions, you want to learn more about what this tour includes, maybe you experienced Dublin, or maybe you missed out going to Dublin and you want to make sure you take advantage of this one, on Monday, just 2 days from now, at Southern Tier, we have a amazing presentation, 6 to 8:30 p.m. You can register. It's not too late to register. Register online. Come on out, have dinner, see the presentation, ask questions. There's a free gift for everyone who attends, as well as some extra promos and free gifts if you're booking the trip while you're there. So it's not too late. Take advantage of that and come and see everything that this amazing package has to offer, visiting the City of Light in Paris in just a few short months.
And coming up on Monday night?
Yes, Monday night, we've got that amazing presentation going on at Southern Tier in the North Shore, 6 to 8:30. Come on out and learn all about it.
You thought you were still on vacation. I was going to make you work today. All right, but real quick, the three things that we've done today, they're all great, all worth looking into. Don't forget AAA.com/radio, or just pick it up, that phone, and book it, 800-354-8761.
Yes, so we have 2 tours of the week, both with Member First, formerly Pleasant Holidays. So the first tour is New York City. The featured dates are October 1st through October 5th of 2026. You're looking at $1,306 per person, AAA member rate, and that includes round-trip direct flights on American Airlines and a 4-night stay at the Westin New York at Times Square. So you're right there in the heart of Times Square, getting to experience everything, the sights, the sounds, the beauty of the city. It also includes a $40 destination fee. So that's payable to the hotel, but it's included in your package. It includes $20 daily food and beverage credit, tickets to experiences like a river cruise there, the Freedom Liberty Cruise, as well as tickets to the American Museum of Natural History, comedy club tickets. You could really get to have all those different flavors of New York City. Again, October 1st through October 5th, $1,306 per person. And then, of course, our second tour of the week, also with Member First, is traveling to Denver. Thursday, September 17th through Monday, September 21st of 2026. This package is $944 per person. It also includes a $30 destination fee at the hotel, but the whole package includes round-trip direct flights on Southwest Airlines and a 4-night stay at the Kimpton Hotel Monaco, Denver. You're right there in the heart of Denver, getting to, really see the sights, the sounds, walk everywhere.
Now, people have been to Denver, and I know a lot of them. They say it really is breathtaking.
It really is. You're there in the city center, but you can see the Rockies right there. You're right in this little pocket of, civilization, more or less, with the beautiful Rockies surrounding you. So it's a great destination. This price point is amazing too. $944 per person, under $1,000 per person for a 4-night stay. Those flights, there's many offered throughout the day, so you can really stretch it out, make it almost a 5-day trip, and get to experience the city with their destination fee included as well. They have escape rooms, mini golf, a food tour that they're offering discounts on. So really neat things to see in Denver, as well as being so close to things like Rocky Mountain National Park. So it's a really great experience.
All right, let's do the river cruise.
Yes, last but not least, our cruise of the week is Heartland of America with Viking River Cruises. You have 7 nights on board the Viking Mississippi. Featured dates are Tuesday, September 7th through Tuesday, September 14th of 2027, so just over a year from now. Starting in Alton, Illinois, just outside of St. Louis. You can go and fly right into St. Louis, experience that, and then cruise down the Mississippi, visiting Missouri, Iowa, Wisconsin, before ending in St. Paul, Minnesota. So getting to experience the Twin Cities there of Minneapolis and St. Paul. French balcony, $6,499 per person. A penthouse junior suite, $8,799 per person. These prices are per person with the AAA member rate. And even if none of these 3 tours or cruises appeal to you, you're looking to book a domestic destination, don't wait. We have an amazing promo between now and July 6th, and mention KDKA USA, and you'll get a free red, white, or blue AAA Yeti cup to take on your adventures that will last for years. Yetis are amazing. So
they are amazing. Here's the other thing. I was just sitting there while you were doing such a good job describing all those destinations. Do you realize just over the last year, you've been to Japan, Ireland, Paris, New York.
Yeah, I'm very, very fortunate. The travel bug is real. Once it bites you, you always.
Could you spend your whole life just traveling?
I think I could, honestly. I would love that.
How many steps did you do? In New York?
53,000. It's about 10 miles a day.
That's why you have that Apple Watch.
Yes, I would say, yeah. Well, you should have seen it when I sat down at my desk on Tuesday. It was like, don't you want to go for a walk?
Move.
Stand up.
Move.
Yes, exactly.
They say in New York, and Rob Taylor, our news anchor, loves the city life. No, if you need to get around the city, that's the guy you want to be with. But people say that New York is really easy to navigate.
It is. It's so, their public transportation is incredible. They have so many subway lines. There's stops well marked every couple of blocks. I think we were all over the place, and we never really had to transfer lines. It's so widespread that, we went the whole way from Midtown Manhattan there in Times Square, the whole way up to the Bronx to Yankee Stadium, direct train, less than a half hour. All these subway stops are so well connected, not to mention the buses. And of course, there's the iconic yellow taxi everywhere you look.
Got to get a yellow taxi when you're in New York.
Of course.
Hey, taxi. All right, listen, a pleasure. Great seeing you. We'll see you in about a month.
Yep, sounds great. Great to see you, Rob.
There she goes, Caitlin Seigan. Don't forget, 800-354-8761, 800-354-8761, 800-354-8761. And for everything and all the itinerary information from today's show, AAA.com/radio. Rob Taylor, and then it's Law for the Elderly. It's coming up in just a couple of moments. Zachariah Brown Brakovic. One more hour to go today, our Marathon Saturday at KDKA.
The proceeding was paid for by AAA. Information on the program was intended solely to further the public's general knowledge about the product. Opinions expressed should not be relied upon for any purpose by any member of the audience.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
Are you smarter than an anchor man? And we have Joe from Penn Hills as a lifeline for me. Joe, what do you like? A, B, C?
Oh, I like the Super Mario. Is that A?
I'm going with you, Joe. You're my lifeline.
The answer was B, Incredibles 2.
Come on, Joe.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
At EasyCater, we believe every workday gets better with great food. Like that morning status meeting. Always better with bagels. And don't forget the coffee. Ops team working late? How about some Power Bowls to keep them going strong? Sandy's celebrating 10 years at the company. This calls for cupcakes. With EasyCater, you get a huge variety of favorite restaurants with tools to help meet dietary needs and stay on budget, all on one platform. So make every workday better with EasyCater. Start an order at easycater.com.
Fresh paint inside, fresh flowers outside. Summer at your house is looking good. During July 4th deals at Lowe's. Buy one, get one free. Select interior paint via mail-in rebate. Plus, get 2 1.5-gallon red, white, and blue annual hanging baskets for just $15. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See store at Lowe's.com for details and requirements. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Been 30, time would have been 30, no, would have been 30, being 30, been 29, if that'll help, been 29,000, being 7, would have been 9,
Get ready to bid on the equipment you need in the Ritchie Brothers Northeast Regional Auction on August 4th. Inventory is housed at locations in Pittsburgh, North Franklin, and Northeast Maryland, with in-person inspections available. Bid on a wide selection of construction and transportation equipment. Don't miss this great opportunity. Visit rbauction.com/Pittsburgh to sign up. Again, that's rbauction.com/Pittsburgh.
Don't miss the Pittsburgh Music Festival, July 11th and 12th at Pittsburgh Brewing Company in Creighton, featuring Joe Grishecki and the House Rockers, Billy Price Band, Norman Nardini, The Gathering Field, and more. Benefiting Band Together Pittsburgh and Autism Pittsburgh. Presented by Pittsburgh Brewing Company and U.S. Steel. Tickets at pittsburghmusicfestival.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 72 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 12 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. 2 people have died following a crash this morning on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. It happened around 2:30 this morning in the eastbound lanes of I-76 near the Route 136 overpass in Hempfield Township. No word on what led to that crash. No word on the identities of the 2 people who died. Stay with News Radio KDK for more on this developing story. Charges of homicide were held for court on a 16-year-old accused of killing a 19-year-old in Market Square back on May 11th. A district judge made that decision Friday after a hearing in which prosecutors outlined some of the details that led to the shooting. Prosecutors allege Bijan Dankins fired 4 shots at 19-year-old Tara Little, striking Little twice before Dankins fled. A Pittsburgh police officer testified he began performing first aid on Little, who was found near the Chipotle in a pool of blood. That's according to prosecutors. Police also said that Dankins had violated his house arrest 4 months prior to the shooting by cutting off his ankle bracelet. Crews have been getting Point State Park concert ready today as the America 250 PA Commonwealth Concert Series invades the Point. Musical acts Nelly, Third Eye Blind, Frizzy will perform this evening to a sold-out crowd. Gates open at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Now, for the city of Pittsburgh, the concert marks the start of the 4th of July festivities, culminating with Pittsburgh's 4th of July fireworks spectacular. That's next Saturday. Also, at the point. And happening right now, City Parks, along with our sister station, Whammo 107.3, hosting the Juneteenth finale event today called Whammo Day. Today's event features entertainment, vendors, and activities for all ages. And city officials will be giving Whammo on-air host Kiki a proclamation recognizing her leadership and passion for her community through the legacy of Whammo. We talked to Kiki about this special recognition she's receiving today.
There's so many other people that definitely could use these accolades or could use this recognition, but I'm not going to stand in their way if they want to give me a proclamation. Okay. But yeah, that takes place at 3 o'clock today. I'm honored and privileged that the city recognizes me and my hard work.
And again, Whammo Day today, noon until 4 in Highland Park, near the reservoir. KDKA Radio News Time, it's 12:02. The AccuWeather forecast next.
When it comes to your home, trust means everything. At Home Genius Exteriors, trust starts with a conversation and a free roof and attic inspection. And it's earned with every roof we install. Let our dedicated project team and certified installers give you peace of mind. Call now and get 50% off all roofing materials. Plus 0% APR and no payments till 2027. Call Home Genius Exteriors now at 855-U-R-GENIUS. That's 855, the letter U, the letter R, Genius. See website for details.
Pittsburgh, Larry Richard here. Let's go to Paris to cheer on the black and gold. I have your golden ticket through AAA October 21st through the 26th. We're taking over the City of Light. Round trip flights, a luxury Marriott stay, game tickets, and an epic black and gold kickoff party. Double occupancy packages starting at $7,199. Space is extremely limited. Call 800-354-8761 or visit your local AAA branch now. Here we go to Paris with AAA Travel.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Mostly cloudy and humid this afternoon. We'll have a brief shower or two, even a rumble of thunder, high 75. Partial clearing, humid, low 67 tonight. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following is paid for by Zachariah Brown and Bratkovich. Information on the program is intended to solely further the public's general knowledge about the product. Opinions expressed should not be relied upon for any purpose by any member of the audience. News Radio KDKA does not guarantee the accuracy of any of the information aired on the following program.
These are the people, the movers and shakers, the businesses, the people you know in your community who make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
All right, Zachariah Brown Brackovich, that's the name of the law firm, and it's Law for the Elderly. We've got a couple of things you do not want to miss in the way of events that are going to be coming up and information that you need to know. And she is back for a command performance. Let's welcome her to the show. She is attorney Melanie Lewis. Melanie, it's great to see you again. A lot to get to and some information concerning those who have recent high school graduates, and that's what a lot of people are doing, including Christine Brown Murphy and her husband Pete, their son recently graduating too. So 'tis the season, is it not?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Rob. It's nice to be back. So we do have a special that we're running right now that would include a financial power of attorney. So once someone turns 18, their parents no longer are able to access any of their finances or help them pay bills, things like that. And medical records. So we also include a healthcare power of attorney in this. If their child is away at college and they get hurt, the parents have no say in accessing medical records, medical decisions, things like that, that you would think, like, they're my kid, I would be able to do this. But once they turn 18, you no longer have that unilateral ability to help them. Also included in this special package is the FERPA, which is an education document. And so that gives the parents ability to access grades, help with financial aid, and see actually any disciplinary action in the school as well. So a lot of students, my mom works in the registrar's office of a college. She gets this all the time. The parents want to help change class schedule or access grades and records, and the parents are not allowed to do it. And so the kids are asking their parents for help, but the parents are not allowed to access any of that without this document. We also include a HIPAA form, so that parents can access those medical records. So we're doing a special right now that all 4 of those documents are at a huge discount for what we normally charge people.
Yeah, and again, let me just remind you the number to get a hold of all of the locations: Cranberry, McMurray, Delmont, even Bradenton, Pompano Beach, Bonita Springs. If you are listening on that Odyssey app or online, 724-942-6200, 724-942-6200. One of the keys about this, and I remember when Christine Brown Murphy first brought this up on this show a while back, God forbid, but something happens to your child and they're hospitalized and they're 3 hours away or across the country, and a parent, what do? You make the call. They can't. So you really should definitely take advantage of this. And I can promise you right now, there's somebody driving around and somebody's having a conversation, or they're at home talking about, you're going to be going away to school. Make sure you have this. How about your dorm? When can we get in? And they're hearing the show going, I didn't know that. So This is very timely, is it not?
Yes, it is. A lot of grads right now. And there's also another document that we're talking about as well. So if your kids are not graduating college or in college, adults yet, we're also helping with temporary authorization for medical treatment for minors. So if they're going away to camp right now,
how's that work?
If you don't have this document, no one can treat them. So if your kid's off at camp for a week, and most camps will provide them, but if not,
right.
They would need authorization from the parents for someone other than the parent to treat them. So camp staff, EMS, people like that would be able to, you can give them authorization to be able to treat the child.
I don't know if it's kind of like a waiver, but even when you get like an operation in a hospital, there's certain things you have to sign. So this is something that people need to get done because, kids go off to camp all the time this time of year.
Absolutely. Even you can tailor it to the circumstances as well. So the scope of like how far away they are, the relationship to the people. So if they're off at camp 3 hours away, you want it to be really broad so that they can treat your child for any allergic reaction, things like that. But also, if they're going away to grandma and grandpa's for the weekend, well, grandma and grandpa are not their legal guardians.
Oh, my.
So they would need a temporary one for grandma and grandpa to take them to the doctor if they needed to.
So I think the best thing people can do is make the phone call and get this thing all straightened out before we get into the summer season, which now is officially upon us as of the last couple of days.
Absolutely.
This is the whole thing about what you all do at Zachariah Brown Brackovic. You cover all bases, not only power of attorney, will, estate planning, what we do for veterans, but even something like this with parents who are far from even thinking about retiring, but it's just the little things that make a big difference.
Definitely, yeah. We want to keep them covered and safe from, new parents or newlyweds all the way up to needing elder care.
All right, now listen, what we love to do when these attorneys drop by once a month for their monthly visit, we'd be lost without them because they bring such pertinent information. We are opening up the phone line. So if you have any questions about what we just discussed, or you have some information that you need answered in the way of power of attorney, wills, estate planning, things that we do, trust, all of that stuff. If you're the caregiver, you need some information, whether it's, a house or homeowner's insurance, life insurance, any of that stuff. Melanie's going to take your calls. We have all of our lines available. It's up to you. I got lots of stuff to talk to her about. But if you want an opportunity to talk to her right now, the number to dial is 866-391-1020, 866-391-1020. So what else is on your mind before I dive into some of these questions? Here we are, summertime, people getting out and about, but maybe some things you want to talk about before I get started with you. Go ahead.
One thing that I would mention, we do a lot of powers of attorney, like we mentioned.
Right.
But people will get these documents done and then they don't know what to do with them. So we always recommend to have their healthcare power of attorney on file with their PCP. So you want to have your doctor to have a copy. So if you're something happens to you, a medical professional already has a copy. If you're going in for surgery, bring it with you, things like that to remember.
See, I never even, we've talked about all this stuff many times, but I never thought about making sure that your doctor has copies of this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's crazy. All right, now listen, how can I protect assets from nursing home costs? How can you do that?
Well, I would say the first thing is to give us a call and we'll walk you through the whole entire process. It's a very large process. So if you think that down the road, maybe, 10 years from now, you're going to need help to protect your assets from long-term care costs, we can set up a trust and move assets to this trust to protect it. as if it's less than 5 years, we can protect less, but we can still protect a lot of it. And we can do gifting strategies and moving assets if you're married to the other spouse. But that's an emergency case. If it's more than those 5 years, because everyone's worried about that 5-year look back, that just means that if you gave away money, they're going to penalize you. But if you give it away to the trust more than 5 years beforehand, there's not going to be a penalty.
So that's one of the biggest topics that we have had on this show in the years we've been doing it is gift giving. What can I give? It's the old, can I give my house for $1 routine? We've talked about that. So now I'm hearing about this trust thing. So repeat that one more time. How does that work?
With an irrevocable trust,
right,
we can draft it for you, set it up for you. If you put assets into this trust, it's a gift to the trust because you are no longer going to be in charge of those assets.
Wow.
Because you're going to choose a trusted person to be your trustee. Typically, it's a child or a sibling, something like that. And that person will manage those assets for you, including your house. You can put your house in the trust. You're still able to convert that asset however you want. A lot of people are worried about if they downsize, can they sell the house and buy a new one? Absolutely. Their trustee would have to be the one to sign the deed, but they're able to convert it however they want. And it's nice to have not a corporate trustee, but a trustee that's their child or someone else that they trust. So they can just say, hey, this is what we're thinking. And the child says, absolutely, let's do it.
Listen, I'm sure that this great legal team has mentioned this before, but my ears have perked up. I don't think I've ever heard about that angle when it comes to the 5-year look back and gift giving, the trust.
Yeah, that's what we do for Medicaid pre-planning is what we call it. If someone's maybe retired in their 70s and they're really worried about protecting their assets, that's the version we use. We use this trust.
So, all right. So if you're out there and you've had a thought about gift giving and that 5-year look back, give us a call. Melanie Lewis is going to be here until 1 o'clock today, 866-391-1020. One thing I have learned from Christine and Colleen and Justin and everyone, they do take the 5-year look back seriously.
Absolutely. You're only allowed to give $500 per month. That's total. That's not per person before Medicaid will flag it for a penalty.
All right. We're going to come back. I got lots more to get to her with, but I really would love you folks to jump in. If you have any questions about elder law, and that means power of attorney, trust, wills, estate planning, give us a call, 866-391-1020. And yeah, if you're that caregiver and you're wondering about, powers of attorney, especially if you've been given that, what you can and cannot do, because even me, and I do not have a law degree, we all know that, barely got out of high school, folks, to be real with you, but when I'm out and about, people will be talking about power of attorneys, and I know from this show, and I'm like, that's kind of a slippery slope, or that's okay. So when you get that responsibility to be someone's power of attorney, that's a monumental responsibility that you have to take very serious, right, Melanie?
Definitely. It's such a big responsibility that the person whose power of attorney it is for finances has to sign a notice that they understand what kind of powers they're giving away. And the person who's accepting the appointment as agent has to sign an acknowledgement that they're going to act in that person's best interest.
All right, I actually want to pick up on the other side of the break about power of attorney and what it exactly entails. And I also have a question I want to talk to her about. Current power of attorney sufficient for mental decline. That's something, obviously, Alzheimer's, these things that we face day-to-day basis, Lewy body dementia. We've talked about that before. We are going to be getting into all of that. And again, their number at the office, 724-942-6200, 724-942-6200. They're in Cranberry, they're in McMurray, they're in Delmont. And then for those of you who are down in that part of the country, that is Florida, in Bradenton, Pompano Beach, and Bonita Springs. But again, that number works for all locations, 724-942-6200. And if you have a question for Melanie, all of our lines are available. Call us right now, 866-391-1020.
Now more than ever, we're the station you can trust for the information you need. KDKA.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
These are the people who make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, so let's actually talk. We're back. Melanie is here until 1 o'clock. If you have a question and you want to join us on the program today, our guest is Melanie Lewis. She is a practicing attorney with Zachariah Brown Brackovic. All of our lines are available. I have a ton of questions, but I really want to give you a chance. You get free legal advice for simply phoning in. We always do well with this show, especially as we start to move into the hour, so don't wait as these phones will start getting busy. I want you to get your place on the phone lines to get a question answered with Melanie. 866-391-1020. So exactly what does power of attorney mean, and what does that give you permission to do if you are the power of attorney?
There's two different kinds that we use in the office. There's the power of attorney for finances. So that person could act with respect to any kind of bank account, investment, their cash, anything that is financial, but also their real estate. That is also something that they can do. They can sell, lease, pay taxes, things like that, pay a bill. Those are the things that are covered under the financial power of attorney. However, not every power of attorney is the same. I run into issues sometimes with the typical estate planning attorney does not have powers in their powers of attorney that are broad enough to allow us to do complete elder care planning for Medicaid, because this person has now lost their ability to sign a new one. They don't have capacity anymore, and it really ties our hands and limits what we can do to help protect assets if it's a limited power of attorney. And for a lot of people, that's okay. But when you get to be elderly, it's really important to have them to be broad powers, which include unlimited gifting. That sounds really scary. But that person that you're trusting to be the agent is going to they have to abide by what you want, your wishes, or they could get into some really big trouble if they don't do that.
Well done. We'll pick up on that, but I got a phone call. As I said, it'll start to pick up. So if you have any questions for her, Melanie Lewis, right now, Law for the Elderly, Zachariah Brown Brackovic, now's the time to call. The hour will get away from us quickly. So call, get some free legal advice. 866-391-1020. Here's Mary in Oakmont. Melanie actually knew to put her headphones on, too. She's an old pro. All right. Go ahead, Mary. How are you?
I'm good. I have moved to a nursing home because I fell last year and can no longer walk. I do have quite a bit in assets, but I don't have a house or anything. Is there any way I can give some of my monies to my two children or grandchildren?
I would say that depends on what your goals are. If your goal is to potentially maybe sometime get on Medicaid, then I would contact an elder law attorney in order to strategically give assets to make sure that you have enough money to be able to pay your bills, but also to not have a giant penalty that you'll have to pay out of pocket. But if that is not a concern for you and that you have enough money to pay for this nursing home, then you're welcome to give up to the federal exclusion amount right now is $19,000 a year. And you can give that to each child without having to report it on your taxes. But the Medicaid rule is $500 per month.
Okay, so if I don't know how long I will live. I'm 84 now. But if I end up spending and my rent here is about almost $14,000 a month. So I don't, that's a lot of money, and I don't know how long what I have will last. So I'm trying to figure out, should I try to do something so I just won't be spending $14,000 a month and it's all gone and have to switch to Medicaid? Is that what happens when you run out?
That would be what happens when you run out. If you ran out of money, then the nursing home could put in a Medicaid application for you. if it is your goal to leave a legacy to your children, to not spend it all at the nursing home and to leave some of that to your children and other people in your life, then I would say give us a call. We can have a consultation with you and come up with a great strategy to help you to preserve some of those assets.
You are a wonderful grandmother. They should be very thankful that they have you and their family. I hope that helps you, Mary.
Thank you very much.
Right.
So what number would I call you at your office? The same number?
Yes, I can give it to you now. Do you want me to give it to you now, or did you write it down?
Okay. I'll write it down and give it to me right now.
Okay, here we go. All right, 724.
Okay.
942. 942.
Okay.
6200.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. That's what they do every day. So it's 866-391-1020. We have lines available. Good call from Mary. Good job on your part. Cranberry, McMurray, Delmont, Bradenton, Pompano Beach, Bonita Springs, 724-942-6200. So power of attorney's been set. You should always have another power of attorney as a backup, correct?
You should have an agent as a backup. So you'd have
How's that work?
You can name as many people as you want on those powers of attorney. So it could be, your spouse is your first one, and then one child is the next, and then if they can't do it, then one next. So we always recommend to have one that is going to act immediately. So one's going to start, and then if they're unable to or unwilling or they pass away, then you have a backup automatically ready.
All right, sounds good. Now, the other thing, say if somebody is in declining health, wants the power of attorney, all of a sudden 2 years later, cognitive skills, memory issues, dementia, Alzheimer's, Lewy body dementia, all the things that we hear about. Should you have it restructured?
You don't need to. So if, like with ours, we already start out with the broadest powers I always recommend that every few years you review them and make sure that they're still the correct agents and maybe go over them with an elder law attorney. So if you're 40, then maybe having those limited powers are okay, but once you get to be elderly, having those broad powers like the ones at Zachariah, Brown, and Bratkovich, then that would be important. We also do a healthcare power of attorney. So the financial one only covers finances and your real estate. The healthcare power of attorney would cover any kind of medical procedure. So that person, and it only comes into play when you no longer have capacity. So if you're unconscious or let's say a medically induced coma, something like that, you're unable to make decisions for yourself. Or if you've lost capacity due to dementia, you can't make those logical decisions anymore. And then this person would be able to make decisions for your health care for you. So they can sign someone into a nursing home. That's one of the big things that healthcare powers of attorney agents can do. Also, if deciding whether or not you need a surgery. Sometimes these elderly people, like maybe a surgery is not a good idea because they're so old and frail, or yes, it would be a good idea to allow them to have that, and what kind of procedures they're going to have. I know there's a lot of, or Alzheimer's and dementia, there's some kinds of treatment options that maybe aren't approved yet. So if we put them into these special things, like that person can sign them up to do that. But if they regain capacity, they bump their head and they're just unconscious for a little bit and need treatment, they regain capacity. That person regains the ability to make their own decisions.
So listen, I couldn't be more proud if you were my own child. And I'll tell you why. Justin Ellis, I asked him this when I first met him, and I'm sure I'll meet Katie Ann Hadeas, who is one of the new attorneys as well. And Colleen is, young enough to be my daughter too. I have to ask you, of all the things you could have done in law, just getting a law degree, obviously going to Duquesne, all the things that you need to do, why elder law for you? Because you're such a young person, said the same thing to Justin, and I would ask Katie the same thing. That's what I love about this law firm. They've got people a little younger than me who've obviously been down the road, have seen things, and can really relate, but they have a lot of young people coming up in this practice that really want to be a part of helping people my age. Go ahead. Why?
When I was in law school, I decided I wanted to do estate planning. And I don't know why I had written wills before as a legal intern at another firm, but I just really enjoyed doing that. And I felt like it was good work. I never wanted to be in a courtroom. So that's one reason that I picked this type of law. But my first job out of law school also did elder law. And that's where I learned about it. And I don't know, I really enjoy helping people.
Well, let me tell you the other thing, too. There are a lot of lawyers out there, a lot of law firms, good ones, great ones, perfectly okay. But you guys specialize in this. This is what you do. This is your bread and butter. So everything that's changing and evolving, from power of attorneys to wills, estate planning, and more, this is what you all drill down on every day. That's what I think separates this law firm from everybody else.
Yeah, we really focus our area just on that. So we're really good at this one area. Please don't ask us to do litigation or criminal or something like that. We're going to refer you out. But for estate planning and elder law, like we really know our stuff.
Listen, they've got me on the right track, and I'm so glad that I've had a chance to get to know them through the years. They've been like family to me, and I'm a big fan of theirs. And again, that number is 724-942-6200, Cranberry, McMurray, Delmont, Bradenton, Pompano Beach, and Bonita Springs. And maybe someday I can actually ask them help me, because I'll be living part-time in Florida, too. You just never know. When we come back, I'm going to talk to Melanie about something we don't talk enough about: digital assets and online accounts. What can they do to help people as they are aging gracefully in this world that we love? All right, number to dial here. Free legal advice. Don't miss it. 866-391-1020. Back with more in just a moment.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA. Covered by JP Roofing and Siding. Pittsburgh's #1 platinum roofing company.
Soldiers and Sailors Hall and Museum recognizes Pennsylvania's combat veterans who have received medals for gallantry. With this Hall of Valor moment, here's the president of Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Hall and Museum, John McCabe.
Corporal Leonard Wolper of Allegheny County was awarded the Silver Star in Korea while attacking a strategic hill on May 24, 1951. Attached as an aid man, Corporal Wolper was subjected to heavy enemy small arms and automatic weapons fire. When 2 men of the lead elements were hit, Wolper moved forward through the enemy to the wounded men with complete disregard for his own personal safety. He administered first aid and assisted the most seriously wounded man to the aid station. He then returned to the front, moving forward of the main body, and assisted the second wounded man to the rear for treatment. Corporal Wolper again moved back to the forward element to render first aid to the men of the company.
For the perfect wedding up to 300, the magnificent ballroom and balcony is a truly unique setting to begin your new life together. For information, visit soldiersandsailorshall.org.
Did you see that UFO last night?
Is it real? Or is it AI?
How about the aircraft carrier floating down the river?
Nowadays, it's tough to determine what's legit and what to believe.
I know it's true because it was all over my feed last night.
But when it comes to news, depend on Pittsburgh's original news source since 1920. The voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 72 degrees, Pittsburgh International at 12:30. I'm Rob Taylor. 2 people have died after an early morning crash on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Crash took place around 2:30 this morning in the eastbound lanes of I-76 near the Route 136 overpass in Hempfield Township. Still no word on exactly what led to that crash. No word on the identities of the 2 people who died. Stay with News Radio KDK for more on this developing story. Well, our sister station, Whammo 107.3, teaming up with the city of Pittsburgh for the Juneteenth finale celebration. It's being held right now at Highland Park until 4 o'clock. We talked to Whammo on-air host Kiki about today's event.
Small business vendors, food trucks. There'll be activities for kids. There'll be entertainment from local artists So families can come out, bring their blankets, their chairs, their pocketbooks so that they can support their small businesses, just basically keeping the tradition of community and family-friendly events alive. And we're just happy to partner with the city of Pittsburgh and, of course, Juneteenth.
And today will be a very special day for Kiki as she's being honored for her many contributions to the city and for the passion she has shown throughout the years for WAMO's heritage and history. KDKA Radio News Time, 12:31. Next updates at 1. I'm Rob Taylor on the Voice of Pittsburgh, News Radio KDKA.
Don't delay in getting that plumbing repair done. Call Palucci Plumbing today for all of your plumbing needs. From trenchless sewer repair and waterline repairs and replacement, hot water tanks, sewer camera inspections, to Pittsburgh body repairs, no job is too small for Palucci Plumbing. Owners Amy and Nick Palucci have been in business for 26 years, so give them a call for your next plumbing repair or replacement. Palucci Plumbing, 412-782-5050. That's 412-782-5050.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Here it comes. Surprise! There's an avocado shortage! Now half your food truck menu is costing more than it's making you! Also, you're out of napkins!
Those aren't cheap! Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise? Saving 13% on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, an ice cream truck stole your parking spot! Looks like you're in a turf war!
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
This afternoon stays humid with clouds and a brief shower or two, even a rumble of thunder, high 75. Turning partly cloudy, humid, low 67 tonight. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following is paid for by Zachariah Brown and Bratkovich.
These are the people who make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, let's get Steve in Greensburg for Melanie Lewis, Zachariah Brown Brackovich. Go ahead, Steve. You're on the air. What's your question?
Thank you for accepting my call. My concern is we have a will, and we had it put together by a very good attorney who recommended doing a will and not a trust. Our assets are relatively, for what I would consider reasonably large, and we have our will broken down into where the money is going to go and what have you when both my wife and I are gone. But my concern is will versus trust. All of our friends say the money should be in a trust. Our attorney said you don't need a trust because most of our assets, aside from our home and some savings accounts, but most of our assets, and I would say 85%, are in IRAs.
So
and I know that makes a difference in the distribution of funds.
Mm-hmm. So partially agree. Everybody should have a will that determines who's going to be your executor, where the stuff in your house goes, and then the distribution of your assets. However, if you have beneficiaries on them, they will not go according to your will. So a lot of those assets will just go directly to the person that you listed on your beneficiary forms. However, if you put those IRAs into a trust or have the beneficiary be a trust, that person will only have 5 years to pull out the principal of the IRAs. But if you leave them to an individual, like your children, they will have 10 years to pull them. So it makes a huge difference on the income taxes they're going to pay as far as if it's in a trust or if it's in the individual.
We've done the right thing by having the beneficiaries designated and having a will as opposed to having a trust.
Without knowing exactly what your assets are, having the will and having it designated that way is great. However, if you have assets more than about $1.5 million, then having a trust could actually save your family members, maybe like your children or someone like that, in payments to the court. I mean, we have all of these fees that we have to pay based on the number of assets that are going through your estate. So if you have assets that might total that much that would not have, beneficiaries, then looking into having a revocable trust might be worth it.
Yeah, well, our assets are going to be far less than $1.5 million, that's for sure.
Okay.
And it's probably, I'm guessing, probably between $600,000 and $800,000 in assets that would not be in the IRAs.
Okay, then in that case, you may not need one. Without knowing details, I can't say for sure. You're welcome to sit down with one of us to review it if you want a more definitive answer.
I'll tell you what, Steve, why don't you do this? Let me give you the phone number. Why don't you at least set up an appointment? You can ask for Melanie if you want and go see them, because they've got offices all around this area. So
I know, they're in Delmont and we're right here in Greensburg.
Oh, you're good. You know exactly. You know how to get there. You're good.
Yeah, I know how to get there. But I have one other question, if I may.
Yes.
And that is, in terms of trustees, if you have no children and no direct heirs, and you're going to leave your estate to whomever, I guess, picking a trustee, I assume you're just going to look for your best friend. Otherwise, you leave it to the state to determine that.
For trust, you would have to choose who the trustee is going to be. So it could be trusted friend, neighbor, sibling, cousin, someone like that. But there's also a lot of corporate trustees out there as well. So that's what they do. There's some banks that'll do it. There's some companies that all they do is have corporate trustees. So it depends. That does cost a little bit of money to have them manage those funds. If you do a revocable trust, which would be the type of trust I would recommend if you were to get one, you start out as the trustee. So you and your spouse would be the trustees first, and then after you pass away or lose capacity or it just becomes too much for you to manage, then your backup trustee would be the one managing the assets.
Okay. Very good. Thank you very much for taking my call. I have a firmer understanding now.
All right, Steve. Good stuff. Great call. We appreciate it. Knowledgeable people, huh? But you're right on top of things. That's what I like to see. Okay, now let's get to my question. So how do you handle digital assets and online accounts?
So digital assets would be according to the financial power of attorney. So if there is, the financial agent can handle digital assets, which includes your email, any kind of online banking, if you have any kind of crypto or anything like that, which a lot of my clients don't, but they do have email and they do have social media and they have those kinds of things. Online banking, lots of people have those apps. The financial power of attorney could be the one doing that. We also put a clause in our wills that also says that person, the executor, gets to manage those, and you determine where your assets are going to go according to your will. But if you need to shut down your email and your social media and close out those accounts, that person will have access to them if you list it in your will. If you don't, then they can't. You'd have to get court approval.
So this is the thing that I have done every time I get a new phone. And I learned about it on this show, and you know exactly where I'm going with this. We're talking about all these things, power of attorney, wills, estate planning, and somebody once said, oh yeah, by the way, make sure they have the code to get into your phone.
Yes, that's a great idea to have someone have the code.
I would have never, I would have, and I have, believe me, this law firm of yours, it's pristine. It looks like the Pentagon. I've got everything where it needs to be because I was just a free spirit my entire life. But this law firm has put me on the straight and narrow. and we're doing all this stuff. And they said that, and I went, oh my. I mean, I've got the passwords, this, that, whatever. But if you don't have a code to get, like, you just can't go to the, the AT&T store and say, unlock this phone for me.
No.
So you got to have that code, right?
Yes.
I love it. All right. So let me ask you this. It's all about saving money when it comes to taxes, even if you're no longer here. So what's the strategy for minimizing taxes for beneficiaries? What can you do when it comes to that?
Well, unfortunately, Pennsylvania is one of 5 states that has inheritance tax. So if you have over $15 million per person, so within a couple, it'd be $30 million, then you're going to be subject to federal inheritance tax, and that's 40%.
Oh.
But there are a lot of strategies to avoid that. So that, as long as you have an estate planning attorney, you can avoid paying the 40%. It is very difficult to avoid Pennsylvania inheritance tax. There's only 2 ways to do it. You either give it away during your lifetime or you leave it in life insurance. That's the only 2 ways. So in Pennsylvania, the inheritance tax is tiered. It's a flat tax depending on your relationship to the decedent. It is 0% between spouses, 4.5% to children, grandchildren, parents, grandparents. So the entire lineal line is 4.5%. To siblings, it is 12%, and everyone else is 15%. So unfortunately, if you left money to your mailman or to your nieces and nephews, they're taxed at the same percentage.
Wow. So you got to do your due diligence. What happens if tragically you die as a parent, both parents, single parent, and your child is like 10 years old and they're like your beneficiary? How does that work?
Minors are not allowed to inherit money.
Until when?
Until they're 18.
So it goes into a trust?
It would go into a bank account that is sequestered by the courts, and no one can touch it basically until they reach 18 years old, and then they get, here you go, here's all your inheritance. Doesn't matter what the dollar amount is, they just get it dumped on them at 18.
Can you like get it in increments as opposed to giving an 18-year-old one lump sum?
Well, that's only if you don't have a will. That's what happens. If you have a will, then we can create a testamentary trust. So that would only come into play if the child, the minor, inherits. And we can set a lot of parameters. So we can set who the trustee is going to be to manage the money for that minor. We can determine at what age or ages that child inherits. So they could get, maybe a third at 25, half of the remaining balance at 30, and the rest at 35. Or if it's not that much money, maybe you just want to do it with one lump sum. But if it's a significant amount, you may not want them to get it all at once.
Yeah.
And also with our testamentary trusts, they are entitled to income if it's invested at age 21. So quarterly, they'll get the income from that so they can get some money. But also the trustee is allowed to pull out money for that minor for anything related to health, education, maintenance, and support. So any kind of medical bills for the child, the trustee can use that money for that. Anything remotely related to education, so it could be room and board, it could be food,
Say if a sibling took your child because you had passed, okay, and they were on a limited budget, maybe they had 3 kids of their own. Now, can they get, as you said, for room and board, they can get a little bit of money to help raise that child?
Well, that would not be part of the education.
No.
So that would be if they're with school. But the maintenance and support are really flexible, and that means to maintain their standard of living.
Okay.
So if the lights are going to get turned off because their guardian doesn't have enough money, then they can pull from those trusts to be able to keep the lights on, to pay for those bills, to have them have food, pay rent, things like that.
All right, we're going to come back with Melanie. We have one more segment. A lot of good calls today. If anybody else wants to jump in here and get some free legal advice for the top of the hour, I highly urge you to call right now, 866-391-1020. And they have offices in Cranberry, McMurray, Delmont, and along with those Florida locations, Bradenton, Pompano Beach, and Bonita Springs. Here's the number that works for all of them, 724-942-6200, 724-942-6200. And if you were listening today and you want Melanie Lewis as that attorney, you can ask for her as well. So it is 724-942-6200, 724-942-6200. And our number to get in here for the last segment, which is just minutes away after this break, 866-391-1020.
It's the little things. The information you need. People you know. The little things that make a big difference. The voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Summer is here and the savings are great at Coons Market. Isn't that right, Frank Dentisi?
Right, Rob. In our meat department, pork baby back ribs are $2.88 a pound. In the produce department, sweet Northwest cherries are $1.98 a pound. In our deli, butterball turkey breast, $7.99 a pound. And additional savings this week, Gold Peak or Simply Gold tea, 52-ounce bottles, 2 for $4.
So get to Coons Market for the summer savings, a Pittsburgh tradition.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
SchultzFord.com, 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 SchultzFord.com.
These are the people who make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, Melanie Lewis, one more segment. So if you have a question, you better give us a call. Time is of the essence. About 10 minutes left in today's show. 866-391-1020, 866-391-1020. And again, their offices, Cranberry, McMurray, Delmont, Bradenton, Pompano Beach, Bonita Springs, 724-942-6200. And again, if you're listening online or that Odyssey app and you're in Florida or you have property in Florida, that number works for them, meaning those offices as well. 724-942-6200. Before I wrap up with some of my questions, let's talk about what we initially talked about and what you're offering now at the law firm when we began the program. Go ahead.
A deeply discounted special for high school graduates. So we're offering that financial power of attorney so that if something happens to the child, or even, if they just want some assistance, that their parent or whoever they name can be able to help them pay bills, to do anything with their finances, their rent, their lease at school, things like that. Healthcare power of attorney, which covers any kind of medical decisions if they're unable to make it themselves. So if something happens to them, parents are not automatically just able to make decisions for them. They have to name it. And then also the FERPA document, which allows the parents to be able to access grades and to assist them with financial aid and things like that while they're away at college, to be able to have that communication with the school. Or also the HIPAA release so that the parents would be able to have access to medical records. So all four of those documents and a deeply discounted package for high school graduates.
Love it, love it, love it. Again, number at the law firm, 724-942-6200. Because I mentioned when Christine Brown Murphy brought this up, I was blown away that if your kid's at college and you need to get a hold because of something going on, they can't give you anything unless you have certain documents. And then the treatment thing, explain that too. If your child needs treatment, talk about that too.
If someone who's an adult loses capacity and they can't make decisions for themselves, someone's going to have to step in and do it. And sometimes, there is a legal way for, who has that authorization, but it's so much easier and faster to be, hey, this person went into the hospital, here's your contact, hand them the document, and then they have access and be able to make decisions for, any kind of treatment, including surgeries and things like that. If they just happen to be in the hospital, then that person that they named would be able to make all those decisions.
So you were talking earlier about power of attorney and certain things that your PCP should have. What about pediatricians for your kids? Should they be aware of this stuff too, or is that not necessary?
When they're a minor,
Yes.
The parent automatically, the guardian, adopted parents, as long as they have legal guardianship of this person, then as long as the child is a minor, they don't need any documents like that.
All right, so I kind of alluded to this earlier and you explained it to me, but just overall, as far as your complete from estate planning, wills, power of attorney, everything. Should these documents be reviewed? Say if you're in your 30s and you're newly married kids, and now you're in your 50s, your kids are grown out of the house. Should this stuff be updated?
Absolutely. Anytime you have a big life event, someone passes away, you get married, you have a child, it's always a good idea to review them. And you can review them themselves. So if you had named your minor children as beneficiaries in your will and now you have another child, well, they're not listed. And there's some provisions that give a little bit of wiggle room to include afterborn children, but sometimes not. So you have to be careful whether or not you've listed them. It could just say your children, then they would be covered. But if someone passes away, now your child is married, maybe you want to make certain provisions for their spouse not to get anything. It just depends. Like, you really need to be cognizant of what stage you are in life and to make sure that it fits where you are now. And they evolve as you get older and your circumstances change.
You know, I've alluded to this before on and off the air. And now that I have everything, the T's crossed and the I's dotted and things where they need to be, thanks to this law firm, things that I even later in life never realized that had to get done. I thought I had things covered, but now I know that I am covered. It really kind of amazes me how many people I know, and sadly people who have passed, even people who were involved in practicing law, that don't have a will.
Yeah.
Is it because it's final and people don't want to talk about it because it's sad, or they don't think it's going to happen to them, or it's the last thing, or somebody else will handle it, or is it all of the above?
I think it's probably all of the above, but people think, oh, I still have time. Well, you might not have time. Things happen, and I've done some estates for 40-year-olds and 30-year-olds before, and it is sad. People don't want to think about the end of life, so they don't want to think about what's going to happen after they pass away. And especially, if they say, I'm leaving everything to my kids, I have to have the tough conversation. What if something happens to one of your kids? What happens to their share? And people definitely don't want to think about that.
So I had that typical $1 million life insurance policy that I paid on it until, I was like early 60s, from the time I was in my 30s. So it came to an end. No money changed hands. It's over. It's done. And then I have some life insurance elsewhere, but you're thinking, I want to get a little bit more for my kids or whatever. What people also don't realize, when you get to be my age, it's pretty expensive getting life insurance. And that's why if somebody comes to you in their 40s and they say, hey, look, Melanie, I got to ask you, should I get $100,000 worth of life insurance? I mean, I can afford it now. Should I? What do you think about life insurance, Melanie?
I don't tend to make decisions on that. Like, I let them talk to maybe a financial advisor or something like that. But it's great to work in conjunction with a financial advisor so that that person and I are on the same page and can advise together to this person. But I mean, it never hurts to have some life insurance, at least to cover final expenses.
And it's not taxed.
Right. So especially people ask me, I want to leave nieces and nephews this amount of money, but I also want to leave my kids a different dollar amount. Saying, okay, well, if you have life insurance, change the beneficiaries to your niece and nephew and not your children, because then that's going to be 0% instead of 15%.
Well, here's what you also have, that come to reality meeting when you realize that your children are making more money than you. So they're going to be okay, but it's good to have a game plan. Of all the things that we talked about today, and they're all essential, what should be the one thing people should definitely lock into if they don't have any of the things that we talked about? The basic stuff. What's the most important? What's the first step? They're all good, but what's the first step that people should be calling your law firm today?
We always say that the most important document you can have in your estate plan is a financial power of attorney. There are provisions, what happens to you when you die. Pennsylvania already determines who gets what and who can be the administrator of your estate if you don't say who. So it might not go to the people you want it to, but it'll go somewhere. The state's not going to take it. It'll go somewhere. It could be, there are some provisions for who gets to be your healthcare power of attorney, but there's nothing for what happens to your finances and who can be an agent for finances unless you get a guardianship that's very expensive and time consuming.
All right,
so that's the number one.
You told me a little earlier, but I can't believe it's been a year since you became a part of this law firm. What do you like about working with Zachariah Brown Brakovich?
All of the attorneys are extremely knowledgeable and kind and willing to just listen to their clients and work through all of our clients have very different situations, and we tailor all of our estate plans to the specific client. It's not a cookie cutter situation. I mean, not everyone has a trust. Not everyone has the exact same will. We always tailor it to the specific situation. We're not going to try to upsell you on anything. It's exactly what you want and what you need for your situation. But all of the attorneys are so wonderful, and we're very collaborative. And if I don't know something, they're going to know it and I can ask them. Or if I specialize in something that they don't, they'll come ask me. We're always working together to give our clients the best, and just the best service we can.
Well, listen, you've done a great job, and I'm sure they will make you do it again because the summer is here. And being that you're that person just kind of climbing the ladder, they want to enjoy some picnics, and you and I will be working together, okay?
Yes, we will.
Good stuff. Melanie Lewis, Zachariah Brown Brakovich, love what they do. Look forward to our monthly get-together. And you don't have to wait that long to see them. If you have a pertinent situation you want to get handled, 724-942-6200, 724-942-6200. Just like that, our Marathon Saturday has come to an end. But before you know it, we'll be right back here tomorrow morning after ABC Radio News at 5 a.m. Rob Taylor coming up with our news at KDKA in just a couple of minutes. More of my colleagues throughout the day, so keep it right here on KDKA 100.1 FM, AM 1020. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you in the morning.
The proceeding was paid for by Zachariah Brown and Bratkovich. Information on the program was intended to solely further the public's general knowledge about the product. Opinions expressed should not be relied upon for any purpose by any member of the audience. News Radio KDKA does not guarantee the accuracy of any of the information heard on the preceding program.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
Are you smarter than an anchor man? And we have Joe from Penn Hills as a lifeline for me. Joe, what do you like? A, B, C?
Oh, I like the Super Mario. Is that A?
I'm going with you, Joe. You're my lifeline.
The answer was B, Incredibles 2.
Come on, Joe.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for mom.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour, and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
When it comes to surgery, trust matters. At Independence Health System, our award-winning surgeons use advanced techniques and technology to deliver safe, precise, and personalized care. We offer minimally invasive options for faster recovery, smaller incisions, and less risk. From hernia repair to bariatric surgery, our skilled team is here for you every step of the way. Learn more at independence.health. Independence Health System. Expert care here.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA FM HD2 Pittsburgh, W261AX Pittsburgh.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 73 degrees in Pittsburgh International at 1 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. 2 people died in an early morning crash on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. This happened around 2:30 this morning in Westmoreland County, the eastbound lanes of I-76 near the Route 136 overpass. That's in Hempfield Township. Preliminary investigation revealed that a vehicle drove onto the right embankment, lost control, and flipped multiple times. Investigators believe it was a single car accident. The names of the 2 people who died have yet to be released. Homicide and gun charges were held for court on a 15-year-old accused of killing a 17-year-old in the Cultural District downtown on June 14th. 15-year-old Riley Dowd is facing those homicide charges after prosecutors say he shot and killed 17-year-old Elijah Thomas Hayden near the intersection of Penn Avenue and 7th Street. Now, during Friday's hearing, a Pittsburgh police detective said he initially drove Dowd to his home in the Hill District before returning a short time later to arrest Dowd. After the detective soon learned that Dowd was possibly involved in the shooting, Dowd's attorney argued the case should be placed in juvenile court. Well, an Armstrong County woman is facing theft by unlawful taking, receiving stolen property, and more after investigators say she stole almost $300,000 from a refrigeration company she used to work for. DA's office says 34-year-old Ashley Apperson of Leechburg stole from the Ventec refrigeration company in Penn Hills between January of last year and May of this year. DA's office says nearly 99 payroll checks that were unauthorized by the business were issued to Apperson. Prosecutors allege Apperson also made unauthorized purchases on a company credit card. Police say Apperson admitted to using some of the funds for online gambling. She faces a preliminary hearing in early July. Well, a new historical marker stands at the corner of 3rd Avenue and Market Street, downtown Pittsburgh, honoring George B. Vachon, the lawyer, educator, and abolitionist who broke barriers in the 1800s. Among those at Friday's unveiling was Vachon's great-great-grandson, Paul Thornell, who says seeing his family recognized in Pittsburgh is especially meaningful.
Oh, I think it's so fantastic. I mean, look, we are on our way to a more perfect union. We are not there yet. I don't know that we'll ever get there. But the work of John B. Vachon and George B. Vachon in the Abolitionist Crusade, and the work that George B. Vachon did as an educator, writer, lawyer, poet, to bring so many